Hi, you're watching BlackCoffeePoet.com and the Black Coffee Poet YouTube channel. I am the Black Coffee Poet. Welcome. This vlog is a follow-up to an article that I wrote called Problems with Sexual Assault Prevention Tips. There's a lot of tip sheets going around on Facebook and the internet, and they're about prevention, and they lack a lot of things, and that's what I'm here to point out. So check it out, and under this I will put the link to the actual article, because right here I'm just giving my like 7 point thing that I've noticed that is wrong with a lot of these tip sheets, but I actually break down a popular tip sheet on the website under the 7 point critique. So here you're getting the 7 points, then check under for a link to the actual article, and you see how I break it down. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. Anyways, I love your thoughts. I'm always looking to learn more. I don't know everything. These are just my thoughts. Check it out. So number one, a lot of these tip sheets, what they ended up doing is blaming the person who has been assaulted. A lot of people use the word victim blaming. I don't like that, because I don't know how people identify. Are they identifying as a victim or a survivor? A lot of people I know who have survived sexual assaults use the word survivor. They are not a victim. But I get it. A lot of people are saying this is just victim blaming, and you know what, these tips do kind of like have a lot of things that are like, hold on a second, why are you not talking about the attacker? You're talking about the person who was attacked. So they don't really focus on like the real issue. It's all about putting all the responsibility on the person who has survived an assault. Number two, these tips tend to focus on that scenario of the stranger attacking somebody. In reality, 90% of sexual assault happens by somebody that the person who has been assaulted knows. Could be a relative, could be a friend, could actually be an intimate partner. It could be a teacher, could be a boss, an employer, could be somebody just anywhere that you are in contact with people on a regular basis. Usually, the person who is assaulted by somebody that they knew. But these tip sheets tend to focus on an attacker that came out of nowhere during a dark alley. Anyways, in a dark alley. Number three, these tip sheets are usually geared towards straight people. I have to let you know that there are more than just straight people in this world, and rape culture exists in many different communities, not just the straight community. It exists in LGBTQ communities, it exists in white communities, people of color communities, indigenous communities, all kinds of communities. Rape culture is rampant, rape culture is everywhere. So people of different genders, people of different cultures rape other people. So they are all, not only are they assaulted, they also rape. So get that out of your head. These things that are just geared towards straight folk, where the man comes out of nowhere and rapes a woman. Women rape women, men rape men, people of different genders, transgender folk rape transgenders, and it just whole big soup happens in this rape culture. Rape is rampant, and it's not just amongst straight folk. Sex workers are never taken into account in these tip sheets of like preventing rape. Why? Because society doesn't deem sex worker that as worthy people. They're not contributors to society, and in this twisted society, raping a sex worker is seen as an oxymoron. Sex workers are there to do work, and they are there to be paid. They're not there to be taken advantage of. They're not there to endure violence, to experience violence. They are not there to be raped. So these tip sheets never talk about sex workers. Now, I'm sure that there are sex work organizations that have their own prevention tips, but I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the run-of-the-mill prevention tips that are going all over the place. They never mention sex workers. Um, these tip sheets include people who are incarcerated. There are 70,000 rapes that happen in America's prisons. And actually, 60% of that is done by the guards. That's right, employees sexually assaulting inmates. Do inmates sexually assault inmates? Yes, and in all types of prisons. All right, whether it's men on men, women on women, and again, people of different genders. Rape is everywhere. Rape culture is everywhere. So if it's everywhere, we should be talking about how rape happens in prison as well. These tip sheets never talk about that. Um, These tip sheets tend not to name consent. They hint around consent. They don't really use the word consent. And they tend to focus on, if they use any like words, the word no. Well, we should be talking about the word yes. We should be talking about consent. And there's many different types of consent to many different things. So again, rape and sexual assault is not just about penis and vagina, penis entering your vagina forcefully, or an anus or a mouth. It's different. There's very many different forms of sex, as there are many different forms of sexual assault. And we've got to name consent. We have to talk about consent. We've got to talk about the word yes. And last but not least, we got to start naming rape culture. You've probably noticed that I've been talking about rape culture throughout this vlog. Rape culture. There is a culture of rape. We live in a culture of rape. Please see my video called We Live in a Culture of Rape. It's of me reading an essay about rape culture and how I use poetry to combat rape culture, to challenge rape culture, to educate people about rape culture. So we not only do not name rape culture in these prevention tips, they're not talking about educating people about rape culture. Education is a big thing. These tips tend to focus on learn black karate, get a black belt, or whatever, learn how to fight on the ground. How about educating the young generation, all generations, about rape culture and how we have to dismantle it, we have to challenge it every day by a different means, because rape culture is everywhere and we've got to stop rape culture. Those are my problems with sexual assault prevention tips, these tip sheets that are floating around. I've got a link to the article, as I said earlier, and I actually take a sexual assault prevention tip sheet and break it down and how there's a lot of problems with them. And of course, these 7 points that I just talked about are there as well. So thank you for joining me on blackcoffeepoet.com and the Black Coffee Poet YouTube channel. Please subscribe to blackcoffeepoet.com and the Black Coffee Poet YouTube channel, and spread this vlog, please. There's lots of problems with sexual assault prevention tips, and please look out in future for a project I'm doing around solutions instead of just pointing out problems. Thanks a lot. Peace out.